Howdy do. Now, for this particular video, we're going to be playing a new game, actually. Instead of Would You Rather, it's called Will You Push the Button? Now, granted, some of the concepts are kind of the same. It gives you a scenario, but it's like, okay, would you push the button or would you not? For example, this question is, become hugely popular with everyone you meet, but you turn into a pumpkin at midnight every night for like 8 hours. So basically, if you go to sleep at midnight to 8 a.m., you would be a pumpkin. And then you'd wake up at 8 a.m. and you would just live your life normally, but you'd become hugely popular with everyone you meet. Obviously, the problem with this one is how active are you after midnight. If you're someone that's not really active after midnight, you basically go to sleep either around, even before something midnight anyways, you're probably gonna be fine. It's if you tend to work like a night shift or you just tend to be editing videos into the AM hours or something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna say I would though. That one seems like an okay one because it also would fix my sleep schedule. That's something I've been wanting to do for a while. So I'm okay with pushing that one. You have pressed the button. 44% of people pressed the button, but 56% did not. I don't disagree with that. I don't mind that people disagreed with that one. That one was a bit of a coin flippy one. It's just not one that I particularly minded. The con, if you will, didn't seem that particularly bad, but you know, to each their own. So that's the concept. So we're gonna play this for like a couple questions at least and see where we'd go with this one, just to be a little bit different from the would you rather kind of a stuff. Would you? You get to name the next big thing, whether it's a planet, state, country, star, new search engine, etc. But some random comedian becomes amazingly famous for mocking this new name somehow. So if we somehow got like a 51st state in the United States, and I named it after myself just to be narcissistic as all get out, some random comedian will become famous for mocking the name. I feel like, though, two things. One, it's a random comedian. We like to cheat here. So it could be me being comedic and making fun about myself and then getting randomly famous for making fun about myself, fulfilling the narcissistic nature that we started this ride on when I named the 51st state after me. So I'm gonna press the button. That really has no drawbacks. 67% of people also agree, while actually 60 or 33% did not. Would you gain immortality? You won't age past 30 either. So not only would you be immortal, you won't like constantly age but like be unable to die. You can't go unconscious or sleep. Now this one I think is dealing more with like the scientific part of it, like why do people need to go to sleep? What like the important parts of sleeping, and then your body heal and repair and stuff as you sleep. I imagine if you're immortal though, that offsets the whole need to go to sleep and be unconscious. And sometimes I've thought about that, right? I'm not saying the whole thing about people where they're like, oh, when you're like sleeping, someone else is grinding and working harder. Yeah, those people are also possibly either in a different time zone or just being dumb, because you should take care of yourself. That should not be something that's on the backboard of you trying to grind anything, be it a job, YouTube, college, etc. You should balance that with decent sleep. That's not a saying you should subscribe to. Now, if you want to subscribe to me, different story. Go for it. I'm not going to stop you. But that being said, I feel like being immortal offsets that though in this particular sense, and it does make me wonder sometimes though, it's like, what if as people we didn't need sleep? Sleep was more of a thing maybe we liked to do. Kind of like eating. If eating wasn't something we had to do, but liked to do, how much more would we like eating, or how much less would we like eating? How much more would we enjoy some of our favorite foods even, because we'd be eating them because we just would want to, not because, oh hey, we need to eat anyways and we get to treat ourselves this time. Same with sleeping. If you sleep and you have wonderful dreams and stuff like that, I imagine that could be something you might not like missing out on. But at the same time, you could still sleep, it'd just be a choice. And basically what I'm saying is how much time, right? Ideally, there's 24 hours in a day, and you're supposed to sleep 8 of those days. So a whole third of each day is spent sleeping instead of doing something else maybe more productive. Not saying sleeping is bad, not contradicting myself what I just said earlier, but I'm just saying like if we didn't need to, we get a third more stuff done in a day, even if that was actually just being lazy and procrastinating for an extra 8 hours. That being said, I'm pushing the button. Ooh, okay. 60% of people would push this button, but 40% of people actually would not. I wouldn't know. 30 is still some ways away, actually, so I wouldn't really know what I even would be like at 30. But that would be interesting. Would you have the ability to travel back in time, but you cannot go forth again? This one is a little bit interesting on the concept of when you go back in time, do you still remain the same age, right? If you go back, say 10 years, because you looked at a specific point in time, you're like, if I did this thing differently, it would have changed all of the negatives that have affected me across like the 2010s into 2020 or something like that, right? But if you're still the same age and you can't go back forth, then let's say, for the sake of simplicity's sake, let's say you're 26, the same age as Kakashi was at the start of Naruto. Let's say that's a nice age right there. If you go back 10 years to fix that point, you won't be 16 though. You'll still be 26. So by the time you get back to the point where you would be 26, you're 36. Not saying there's anything wrong with 36, but I'm just saying, like, as an example, right? It's like, well, is that worth it? I'm gonna say I will not push that button. 53% of people agree, while 47% of people actually would do that. And I can understand why. It depends, right? Like, if you go back, but you have to go back and be like, say, 16 again, well, that's a different story, because then suddenly it's like, well, then you can kind of just relive that again. You won't be able to go forth. You'll have to go through the 10 years again. But if it's something like that, then you probably want to, so you can go step by step correcting something. Some people have the idea, right, they wouldn't change anything about them because where they are now is exactly where they like being. And I actually agree with that. But for the sake of this question, it's hypothetical. I just kind of wonder sometimes about, well, what if that was on the table, though? Something like that specific. Let's see. You get to meet your favorite superhero, but you are the supervillain that kills them. I don't know if I have, like, a favorite superhero. I was kind of like a DC kid growing up, to be honest. And my favorite DC superhero is Batman. I'm pretty cliche that way if you want to whatever. But then the Marvel like cinematic verse came out, and like for me, the only like history I had with Marvel stuff was the Spider-Man animated series in the 90s. So a lot of the villains and stuff like that in the Spider-Man movies that even come out now, I know first from there. Like back when Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man and they had Electro coming in, Jamie Foxx in that second movie. I remember him as Electro in the cartoon that like shot down the SHIELD HQ, the helicarrier fortress. It kind of was more of a fortress. He like shot it down in 2 shots. He was like super powerful and it was crazy. So that's kind of my history with like even the new Spider-Man game that came out on the PS4. When I'd watch other people play it, that was my knowledge of villains, was if they were from that show. But then the Marvel Cinematic Universe came out, and I was able to get into more through Marvel through that. And so now it's like, well, I think Batman, just for the sake of originality, would probably still hold it for keeping the question simplistic. But now I don't even know if it's like just a favorite, like my favorite DC, and then like I have a favorite Marvel, and like what goes on there. I'd say probably not, because I wouldn't want to kill them. So I'm not going to press that button. 49% of people agree with that, but 51% of people would actually meet their favorite superhero, but then become the supervillain that kills them. So is it really your favorite superhero? That's the question. Next question. You will be invited to many chat room. Oh, wait, you will be invited to many game chat rooms in Skype, but Max will always be there watching you. Max like Goofy's son? Max like from a Goofy movie? I don't know if that's really a con. I think the bigger crime here is that this is outdated because Skype is not really the thing anymore. All the cool kids are on Discord now, for that matter, as long as Discord will last. Skype has its purposes, from my understanding. People still use it for businesses and stuff like that, don't get me wrong. But like, there was an era where like me and a lot of my friends were on Skype. That was like what, 2012, 2014. Now if this was like Discord or something, that'd be a different story. On top of that, I don't think I want to be playing games through game chat rooms in that capacity, honestly. If I want to queue up with some friends and like some League of Legends solo queue so we can all just be miserable together, because misery needs company, and that's the way to go, we could just get into a Skype call pretty easily. We don't need to go be invited to a chat or anything like that. So I will not actually push that button. Only 36% of people agree. 46% of people still are on Skype. Am I actually the outdated one? Because I think I'm actually the updated one, but I'm actually not. Is this one of those things where you try to be the cool person and it just backfired in your face? Or is it actually just more of a Skype is a lot more prominent than I think it is? Skype wasn't bad in my experience. It's just everybody's talking about everybody has like their own Discord servers and stuff at this point now to grow their communities on and stuff like that, right? Like YouTube, if you can't trust the bell notification and the subscribe button, you direct people to your Discord now over on your stream on Twitch and stuff, so that way they can be notified over there. You can set up bots and stuff to do that. I don't know if you can do that on Skype. Maybe Skype had an update and they're trying to play ball. a bit more. Maybe I have to look into that. I feel kind of a little bit silly now, maybe. When you press the button, you gain all knowledge of the inner workings of the universe, deities included if applicable, but you can only communicate via Phantomine for the rest of your life. I don't know what that word is. Is that like Phantom Sense in VR chat, but like for like telekinesis? I don't know. I don't know that term. You gain all knowledge of the inner workings of the universe. That seems like it would be appealing unless you find out things are true that you didn't want to know are true, or vice versa, right? I don't know what that word is. I'm just gonna not. 42% of people agree with me. 58% of people know what that word apparently means. So, you know, next. Would you know everything about... Wait, we just did this one kind of, didn't we? You know everything about anything in the universe, but nobody will ever know it, and even if you tell them, they won't remember it. So basically, you would gain all knowledge of everything going on in the universe, but no one would remember it. Not necessarily not believe you, but they won't remember it if you tell them. And I don't know if I want to live that kind of a life, because again, case in point. So if I learn something is or isn't true that some other people know about, and I try and tell them about it, etc., they won't remember it. And so that seems kind of sad. That seems kind of miserable, actually. Like I said, we could just play League of Legends if we want to feel the despair. I don't want to play some Danganronpa. Let's not do this one. 73% of people agree. All right, so there we go. And only 27% of people disagree. That feels a bit better. Let's see. Have the ability to banish all hatred from the world, be it from racism, religion, sexual discrimination, gender discrimination, etc. But you have to sacrifice the one thing you truly love. Now think, is it worth? It depends. You said the one thing I truly love, not person, so I don't gotta sacrifice like a family member or something. And outside of that, the things that I truly love, I'm not really a materialistic person. There are things I definitely like and enjoy having. It would definitely be at a disadvantage if I didn't have them for any length of time, don't get me wrong. But I also could sacrifice food. That's a thing. And I could also just make more. I could sacrifice a whole entire Domino's like pizza, for example, and then just order another Domino's pizza afterward. And that pizza's still sacrificed, and then there we go. It doesn't say give up forever, it just says sacrifice. So here, have your like meat lovers or whatever you want. I'm just gonna order another one, call it good. So I'll press that button. Like I said, we cheat here. 52% of people agree, 48% of people disagree. It depends also, again, what that thing is. Or some people could be like their spouse or something. It's like, well, that would be a great world to probably live in, a world without hatred. That's probably a world everybody wants to live in, because who wants hate in their world? At the same time, depending on what that thing is you're sacrificing, I can understand, this one I can understand why it's a bit more 50-50 split. Except it's not, it's 52%, our side won. Just... You will know how the universe came into being and why we are here, but you can tell no one. We've done this one like 3 times now. They really want us to get philosophical on this one, don't they? They really want us to like look into the beyond and kind of think about stuff like this, huh? I don't want to though. I don't think I actually want to know stuff like that. There could be things out there in the universe that are actually terrifying, and I want nothing to know about those black holes that actually have like space ghosts in them. I don't know. The universe is vast and really big, and there's definitely stuff out there, and some of it I just don't want to know. Giant space spiders, those could be a thing. They probably aren't a thing, but they could be a thing. I don't want to know. So no thank you. 79% of people agree. There we go. You can have any car you like anytime, but Hitler rides shotgun every time. Oh, we're skipping that one. I will not press. You will meet the love of your life, but you will only be able to have sex once a year with anyone. Well, then what's the point of meeting the love of your life if it could just be with, you just have the sex? I guess it depends how much you value sex in that specific regard. I don't really care all that much in that. That's a weird question. It really comes across to how you feel about this. And if you don't really have this highly in the grand pyramid of things, sure? That's weird. That's a weird one. That's a weird one. You form the greatest band of all time, but you never play any venues with a capacity over 500. If we're the greatest band of all time and we can't fill a venue with over 500 people, then we're probably also streaming the concert online, and that's probably the reason why we're doing that. I don't think I want to form a band though, so that probably would be why I wouldn't. But we're in a digital age. There's so many other solutions we could do, and it'd be just fine, actually. You'd be able to learn everything super fast without needing to go to school. You won't be able to socially interact with anybody who still does. So basically, I'm in college. So a lot of people I know are around that age where they're like ending high school, they're in college, or they're out of college. So there's actually quite a bit of people that I know that aren't in college. So socially interacting with them would be possible. That's fine. You're gonna have to hit me with a little bit harder of a question than that. You can go on a date with the girl of your dreams, or your fly will be wide open during the date, and you will be oblivious to that fact. I wear sweatpants, so that's fine. That's not a possibility. The cure to the zombie virus is within you, but to harvest it, you'll die in the process. Good thing we're not part of a zombie apocalypse. I will not press that one. Sorry, it's just not necessary, so I don't need to die for it. Unlimited soda of your choosing, but once a month you must eat your own snot in public. I will not do that. Dang, a lot of people actually disagreed with that. You find out you have the power of a Jedi, but you are Jar Binks. I don't really hate Jar Binks. I don't really. That doesn't really bother me, actually. I didn't really mind Jar Binks in the prequels. I didn't mind the prequels at all. I think that people that dislike the prequels probably have valid reasons, but some people just don't like them for the same reason they don't like other things. Like, oh, we're older now, we could be more critical. It's like, you don't have to do that just because you're older. That's not like a thing. You're just suddenly wiser because you're older. That's not how wisdom works. Sorry. People that validly, criticize and don't like them, that's fine. It's not for everybody. But no, I didn't have a problem with Jar Binks. I'd press this button, but I actually don't want to because I like being me, actually, quite a bit. You never see My Little Pony stuff again, and eventually no bronies are left, but they move on to a different revamp of a show from your childhood, and twice as many people sexualize it. I don't really mind My Little Pony or bronies, like, do y'all, as long as you're not doing illegal stuff. I don't really care. So I don't really, I won't do that. Just live your life. Just don't bother other people and be jerks or something like that, right? Like I said, illegal stuff or harassers, or just, be cool. You can make anyone you want die, but you have to sleep in a subway station every Wednesday afternoon. So I gotta go take a nap in a random subway station, but I can make anyone I want die. I don't think I really want anyone to die, though. I'm not really that spiteful. If there's someone that I dislike that much, I just kind of learn quickly to just cut them off and just kind of forget they exist, to be honest. I don't really give a lot of power to that, so I'm just gonna go with not. It seems like an interesting concept, but nah, not really for me. Let's see. You have the healthiest foods, taste like your favorite foods, with a large variety of taste and flavors, but the food has no consistency. So while it tastes good, you never know the taste. Also, junk food literally tastes like excrement. So in other words, healthy foods would taste like pizza and stuff like that, so why would I ever eat junk food at that point? Like, I never would eat junk food, so I'd press that button. Oh, wow, actually, that's a lot of people actually disagree with that one. Well, that one's interesting. Alright, you get to transform into any animal you want, anytime you want, but you'll never have fur, scales, feather, etc. Nothing to cover your skin, pelt. So if you could turn into like a wolf, you'd be like just a naked wolf. Then you just turn into a naked mole rat from Kim Possible and call it good. That seems like a interesting one. You just probably shoot for an animal that just doesn't have that problem. Sure, I'd press it. Why not? Let's go for it. Universal peace will be acquired. You and your entire family would die. I'm not that selfless. I'm sorry, I'm not that selfless. If it was even just me, maybe we'd debate more. Once you said, and your entire family, no, sorry. You can turn invisible for 15 minutes every day. Every jar you come into contact with will be ridiculously hard to open. This is already the case, so this is already my life. This will just be an added bonus. Press that button. 83% of people agree. Let's go. Let's find a good question to end on, so it's not too long. Your teeth and breath will always be fresh and clean. Everything you eat will taste like you've just brushed your teeth, especially orange juice. You know when you go to like the dentist, and like after they clean your teeth and they're done stabbing your gums and acting like it's your fault for not flossing when they're literally stabbing your gums with a sharp object, they give you fluoride, and it's like orange fluoride or vanilla fluoride. That's basically this. It's saying everything you eat will taste like orange fluoride, but your teeth will always be fresh and clean. And I like my teeth. I take a good care of them, so I don't actually have to do this. I just take care of your teeth. There you go. All your dreams will come true, no matter how wild it would be. These dreams always hurt people close to you heavily in the end. Oh, this is actually a rough question maybe to end on, because it's like that kind of is how certain things are. When you hear people talk about like the grass is always greener on the other side, that applies to YouTube and everything else too. There's things behind the scenes. Sometimes, depending on how much you grind, especially the more successful actually at YouTube you are, dictates maybe how much you need to grind to keep being successful and have recording days and miss out on stuff. Straining some of your relationships with your friends and people because you can't give them the time they need and stuff like that. This is actually a lot more true than you might think it is for a lot of dreams. I'm using YouTube as an example because if you're watching this at this point, this is probably like on YouTube and stuff like that. So that is unfortunately a thing that already happens. The one saving grace, the one silver lining, is it depends too, right? Sometimes the people that it could hurt and heavily hurt close to you might be willing to like wade the waters with you. They understand what you're doing, especially once you get successful, like it's a dream come true. So we're talking you're big. Keep it on YouTube for simplicity's sake. You're a wildly successful YouTuber. The people around you, even if they didn't get YouTube at that point, they'll get it now. And so maybe they'd be willing to work with you on that though. So it could be whatever dream. So just for the sake of, I would have faith in the people around you, is what I'm saying, basically. I actually don't fault people for disagreeing on that one. Let's see. You have a master of grasp and playing the piano, and you can pick up music instantly, and as soon as someone else is watching you play, you lose all ability to musically play an ability, basically. I'm gonna not then. What's the point? Able to speak, read, write, and sign in any language, but not be able to taste food. Will not. I need food. Half-Life 3 will come out. It's exclusive to Xbox One. Sure. I never really played any of the Half-Life, so there we go. But now it exists for those of y'all that like it. Perfect. You are good-looking and successful, but your work is in sewers, and your sense of smell is intact. I'd say I am successful, just not maybe in ways other people would say success is successful. I'm alive, have good health. I'm pretty good. You can play any instrument, but your teeth will fall out. Nope. Let's find a good ending one. You wake up in 10,000 BC as an immortal. The knowledge of the next 12 millennia is still fresh in your mind. You are susceptible to insanity. You cannot kill yourself, and you can't find any other immortals. Isn't this a plot? It's low-key and Ruby or something like that. Let's see. Would I want to do that? I'm immortal. We're connecting it with the other one. I'm 30 at max forever. I'm susceptible to insanity. Of course you are. And I can't find any other immortals. So it's actually like Hancock, actually, with the movie with Will Smith, where that technically was the thing. There were a bunch of, well, if you haven't seen that movie, I guess it's a spoiler. There were a bunch of gods, and the way to kind of get rid of their immortality to live out normal lives and eventually be allowed to die was to find another immortal and kind of pair up with them and like marry them and have a life with them. Because two immortals in close proximity took their immortality away from each other. It was an interesting concept. I still haven't really seen anything quite like that concept to this day. Now, that being said, would I do it? No. Absolutely not. No thanks. Actually, that'd be a long time to live away from things like soap in a toilet and pizza. I don't think pizza was around in 10,000 BC. There's a couple things outside of course, like family and stuff that would be gone that I would miss. So no, I'm gonna say no. We're not gonna do that one, Chief. And 53% of people would agree. So we're gonna end on that one because I could probably just keep going and going and going. I don't really want to make this video too long, but that's would you or do you did not press the button, and will you press the button? That kind of a game. If you want to throw that up, it's a free game to play. You just type in will you press the button, probably the first link that comes up. It's something you can play for fun with your own channels, with your own Twitch chats. If you're streaming, you want to just play and like let chat vote on which way you'd go and stuff like that. It's kind of a fun idea like that. Again, something a little bit different from Would You Rather. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell notification, the actual subscribe button, for whatever reason. But I don't know what video will be next. We'll just have to wait and see. So until this time, take care and enjoy pizza responsibly. Thank you for watching.